I get 9 to 10 hours of sleep almost every single night. I do not play about my sleep, and here are my Aura scores to prove it. I have crafted the most perfect, science-based, evidence-based, and woman-based nighttime routine with sleep hygiene that will literally change your life, so let's get into it. Hi guys, I'm Jazz. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and for those of you who don't know me, I make beauty and lifestyle content here on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Today we are going to be talking about the habits that you need to establish in your life every single night in order to have the best sleep of your life. And guys, this is coming from someone who used to be a former night owl. Okay, I would go to sleep at like 3 on a good night and wake up at like 2 the next day. To this day, I'm still not a morning person, but I can safely say that I'm no longer a chronic night owl. It's all about the nighttime routine. It's all about the habits that you establish every single night. And don't forget that sleep is one of the most important things that you can do in your life every single day. Obviously, apart from being healthy, drinking your water, going to gym, all of that, sleep, guys, like, people underestimate how important sleep is. So let's get into some habits that you can add into your nighttime routine to have the best sleep of your life every single night. First things first, we are going to talk about our cycle, and don't you dare skip over this part. A woman's cycle dictates literally almost everything, and it has taken me so long to learn this, but once I took the time to learn my cycle and learn how it controls my sleep, my eating habits, my mood, my energy, my work, literally everything, it has changed my life. It has honestly changed my life. A woman goes through 4 phases in her cycle every single month: your menstrual, your follicular, your ovulation, and then the worst one, your luteal. How these cycles control your sleep. In your menstrual cycle, you're gonna be more tired, you're gonna need more sleep, but it's usually harder to fall asleep and stay asleep because of your PMS symptoms, which is basically cramps, you have headaches, you might feel a little dehydrated, and your body temp lowers a lot, which can disrupt sleep. Next, you have your follicular phase, and this is when your energy and your mood are starting to improve. Your body's sort of like, okay, you know what, let's pick up the pace here, let's establish some good habits, let's start going to the gym. This is when your sleep feels deeper and more stable. You're able to fall asleep faster, and you're able to stay asleep longer. This is also your most balanced sleep window, so take advantage. Next, you have your ovulation phase, and in this phase, your body temperature is going to start to rise. For me personally, I literally start having like heat flashes during this phase. You might feel more alert at night, and for me personally, I literally feel so productive and so motivated at night. It is the worst thing ever. I literally have thoughts just like running through my head when I should be falling asleep, which means that during my ovulation phase, I have to practice good habits like intensely, like no drinking, no caffeine, do all of my good habits before sleep, which I will show you in this video. And then the last part of the cycle, your luteal phase, which I think is the worst phase to ever be created on this planet Earth. This is what I call the devil's phase. Your body temp is so high. Okay, this is when you start sweating during your sleep. You're restless, you're waking up in the middle of the night, you have anxiety, you have racing thoughts, you have cravings, so you might be hungrier, you might want to snack, which also can disrupt your sleep. Insomnia is definitely more common in this stage, but ironically, it's when your body feels like it needs the most rest and the most sleep, but for some reason, so difficult to achieve. Knowing all of this is going to help you determine what you need in terms of sleep for that week. Perhaps less caffeine or a better wind down routine. Overall, it's just going to help you be more aware of your sleep patterns during that part of your cycle. But no matter what part of your cycle you're in, as long as you establish good sleep hygiene habits, then you might get the best sleep of your life. So let's get into my routine that I crafted myself based off of science, based off of evidence, and based off of being a woman, okay? Do not listen to all the sleep propaganda coming from men. Our bodies are very different, and that's why I wanted to quickly give a disclaimer in the first part of the video talking about our cycle, because it's very important to know where you are in your cycle. Again, please take the time to do your research. But anyways, let's get into the sleep routine. All right, first things first, I know we all have different lifestyles and different schedules. You might be working a 9 to 5, you might be a student, you might be a stay-at-home mom, you might be working from home. Whatever your lifestyle and your schedule is, take it and apply it to your life in a way that makes sense to you. The first step of any good wind down nighttime routine routine is what I like to call the closing shift. This involves going to the kitchen, tidying up, cleaning up, wiping down the counters, putting away the dishes, just doing anything that tomorrow, if you wake up and you did the night before, you're gonna be like, oh, you know what? Thank God I did that. Now, I call this the closing shift routine because obviously if you've worked in retail, then you know that if you have the closing shift, there are certain things that you have to do before you actually close down the shop or the store, and that might involve mopping the floors. I used to work in my parents' salon for literally, I was about to say for a little bit, but I actually worked there for so many years, it's crazy. And we always had to broom, mop down the floors, close down the register, things like that. So this is what I like to call the closing shift routine, because before you go to bed, you must do these things. I don't know about you, but I can't go to bed if I know there's a sink full of dishes, dirty dishes. I also have 3 cats, so they love to get into those dishes if I don't put them away, so I kind of have to put them away every single night. I also have to obviously feed my cats, wash their bowls, clean their water, things that are required for me to do before I can finally go upstairs and go to bed and fully relax. I also love doing the closing shift routine because I work from home, so it's really hard for my brain to transition from work mode to sleep and relax mode sometimes. So this closing shift is a way of telling my body and my mind like, okay, it's time to clock out and it's time to go, into sleep relaxation mode. Now, one of the most important things about this whole routine is that you start doing it at the same time every day. Again, I know we all have different routines, we all have different schedules and lifestyles, so is this 100% applicable to everybody? Is it realistic for everybody? No, but try to do it as closely as you can to the same time every single night. The body loves routine, it loves consistent habits, and it loves rhythm. So doing something at the same time every single day is going to train your body and train your nervous system to go, okay, you know what? It's time for bed and it's time for sleep, and your body will have a much easier time going to sleep and staying asleep. The next part of a good wind down routine is what I like to call clearing the brain, because the brain is a powerful thing, you guys. You might be able to fall asleep, your body might be sleepy, it might be so tired, you had a long day, but if your brain is not ready to fall asleep and it is just running and it is just thought after thought, you will not be able to fall asleep. Trust me, take it from an anxious girl. My brain, it's competing against me almost every single night if I don't do a good wind down routine. Racing thoughts are my literal enemy. Sometimes I'll go to sleep and I'll just be laying there trying to go to sleep, and I'll suddenly think like, oh my God, I have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3 tomorrow. And then suddenly I'll be like, wait, where's my birth certificate? Like, I haven't thought about that in 2 years. It just comes up in my head. I don't know what's going on. You need to clear your head before going to bed, and my favorite way to do that is by journaling and planning. I love journaling about my feelings, my emotions, my to-do list, my creative list, literally everything and anything. And I actually didn't start journaling until a few months ago, because if you've been following me on TikTok or Instagram, then you know that I have what I label as journaling trauma, because I've had parents, friends read my journals and, just read my very intimate thoughts. So ever since I was like 16 years old, I was like, you know what? I'm never using a journal again. Everything is staying right here. Well, guess what? I haven't had a good night's sleep since then. I'm kidding, but journaling has definitely changed the way that I function mentally and emotionally. I literally cannot recommend it enough. It doesn't always have to be such a deep, intimate session. You can journal about literally anything. I journaled about vitamins the other day, believe it or not. I just wanted to do some research on some vitamins, and that put me to sleep. Sometimes I'll journal for an hour straight and my mind would just enter the most peaceful state ever, and I just have the best sleep every single time. You can also use a planner. I love to use my digital planner on my iPad to write down any to-do lists, any things that I have to do tomorrow, maybe something that's just sitting in my head that I'm like, oh wait, like tomorrow I have to do this, or next week or next month. The point of journaling and planning is really just to get it out of your head and on paper. Once you do that, your head will be able to be like, okay, I already thought about it, I wrote it down, it can leave my head now. If that doesn't work for you and you want to do something more relaxing or fun, try doing puzzles like a word search, or personally, I love a good Sudoku puzzle. Sudoku is so good for mindfulness and just really clearing your head and getting your mind to be in just a very mindful state. And if you don't have time to do either of those things, your next best option is that if you are falling asleep and you do get racing thoughts, and the thoughts are just flowing, it might be something an idea of something or a to-do list, get your phone out and write it down on your notes app, like immediately. Do not try to think, you know what, I'll remember tomorrow, or I'll think about this tomorrow. Because if you do not write it down, your brain is going to continue to expand on that thought. And next thing you know, you're awake for a whole hour just laying there thinking about one thing that you could have written down. The third part of a good nighttime and wind down routine is a good shower. Now listen to me, you can argue with me in the comments if you want, but showers are for nighttime, okay? If you're a woman, showers are for the nighttime. A daytime shower for me is just, it's so boring. I'm so rushed. I have to do stuff. I'm like, why am I wasting my time in here? But a nighttime shower, I can truly just relax, let the warm water wash over my body, wash away all those negative thoughts, wash away literally all of my thoughts and all of my stress and anxiety from that day. Nighttime showers relax muscles, stimulate a drop in body core temp, reduce stress, and can become a signal to your brain that it's time to sleep. I love a nighttime shower so much that if I already showered during the day, maybe I came back from the gym or I did something that made me sweat, I will take a little 5-minute shower again at night. Yep, that's how much I love a good nighttime shower. But you have to be doing it correctly, okay? Because a lot of people think that jumping in the shower, turning on the lights, taking a cold shower is gonna get you to relax. No. Let me teach you how to do a proper nighttime shower routine. Number 1, warm shower. And I don't want to hear, well, cold water is better, and no. That is male propaganda again. There is so much research and science that shows that hot therapy is actually so much more beneficial to women than cold therapy. So all of that cold showers, cold plunges, like ice baths, that is science for men. That is science and research all done on men. Again, you have to think about how for us women, we have cycles, we have different hormones, our bodies are built differently. So warm showers at night, that is literally the best formula to get you to relax and to have a good deep sleep. Number 2, a shower lamp. I don't want you to turn on that ugly overhead lighting. Okay, that is just ruining the vibes. You're killing the peaceful night vibes. A shower lamp is not only gonna make everything so much more spa-like and luxurious, but it's also gonna relax you more and really train your brain to think, okay, like the lights are dimmed, it is really time to relax and go to sleep. I mean, seriously, look at the difference. Like overhead, dingy, ugly versus good lighting with the shower lamp. Number 3 is scent. The brain is it's a very interesting thing. If you're able to train your brain, you're gonna win no matter what. And one of the best ways to train your brain is through your nose, okay? Scent. I have a very specific skincare product that I've been using before the gym for years. Now guess what? Every time I smell it, I suddenly get motivated to go to the gym. It is the weirdest thing ever. I'm sure a lot of you have something that if you smell it, it instantly like makes you want to do a different specific thing, or it reminds you of a very different or specific memory. That is what you want to do with your brain. You want to train it to smell something and think, okay, relax, sleep time, relaxation time, like this is what that scent means. So while you're in the shower, go ahead and light a very specific candle. I like to use a candle warmer because it adds more, I don't know, it adds another little spa-like luxurious touch to the lighting. And I do have cats, so I try not to light candles all of the time, but make sure you are only using that candle or that specific scent before bed. Do not confuse your brain and start using it in the morning, because then your brain will be like, okay, wait, like this scent doesn't mean anything. You want to use a very specific scent when you're taking your nighttime showers. Last thing is mindfulness, you guys. You want to be present. You don't want to be on your phone. You don't want to have Netflix playing on your phone. You don't want to be on social media while you're taking a shower. I love to take a shower and just actually focus on the water just running on top of my body, washing away all the dirt, all the bad and negative thoughts and emotions. And when you actually practice being present and visualizing the water calming you and relaxing you, trust me, that is going to change your shower. You will actually look forward to a good shower routine. I finish off my shower routine with some self-care. Of course, if you don't have time for a shower, or you already showered during the day, you don't want to shower again, you can skip the shower. Still though, turn on a little lamp, turn on a little candle, do some self-care, do your skincare, do your oral care, do your hair care. Like this part of the nighttime routine is really just about self-care and taking care of yourself and telling your body that it is just time to relax right before we go to bed. This is also a great time to do some red light therapy. I love red light therapy, and it's not something that makes me feel more alert. It's something that truly relaxes me and again tells my body and signals my brain it's time for bed, it's time to relax, and it's time to calm down. I put on some nice PJs. I love a good set of matching PJs. I just feel like, I don't know, it just puts me in a good mood. Everything I do in this nighttime routine already puts me in a good mood, but a nice set of PJs just puts me in a great mood. I also love to use a little nighttime perfume. Again, remember the scent thing. It is going to help you tremendously. I use a perfume right before bed that I only exclusively use for nighttime. And again, every time I smell it, I'm like, okay, it's bedtime. So don't use that perfume during the day. Don't use a perfume that makes you feel more alert. Use a really nice, warm, relaxing perfume that tells your brain it's time to relax and go to bed. All right, guys, we are almost ready for bed. Let's move on to the fourth part, which is what I like to call the prep. This is everything you're gonna do right before you get into bed. Do not quite get into bed just yet. We're not done. Firstly, we're gonna take care of our liquids and our supplements. A fun drink before bed is mandatory for me. It's not a want, but a need. I usually have a rotation, so you can do something like a nice relaxing peppermint tea, or you could do something that I like to call a sleepy juice, which I'm sure you've seen this all over TikTok. I can't take credit for this, but it's basically tart cherry juice and then some magnesium powder, which magnesium, by the way, is an amazing supplement. If you haven't already added it into your routine, it is going to help you fall asleep so much faster and actually stay in deep sleep for longer. I actually did a bunch of research on magnesium, especially about the benefits for women. So I'll insert some pictures here and you can kind of pause and read them if you want. Magnesium is an amazing supplement to implement into your routine before sleep. Trust me, especially if you are a woman. So I mixed that into the tart cherry juice, and it is literally like a magic potion, a magic juice for sleep. Tart cherry juice does have natural melatonin as well, so it is going to help you sleep amazing. Another drink I have in my rotation at all times is a gardening drink, if you know what I mean. I love a good gardening drink, you guys. It relaxes me, it clears my brain, it clears my head. It literally relaxes my muscles. So shout out nowadays. This is not an ad, this is not sponsored. I just love a good gardening drink. Make sure not to drink too many fluids, too many liquids before bed. Otherwise, you're gonna be constantly getting up to pee and then you're gonna have interrupted sleep. And speaking of fluids, you guys, I don't have any addictions in life except this. Okay, coffee is my only addiction. It has to stop 6 to 7 hours before bed. Realistically speaking, that doesn't happen every single day. Sometimes it's 7 p.m. and I'm still sipping on a coffee, but I try to actually stop 6 to 7 hours before bed, and that way the caffeine will have fully left your system and your body and it won't interrupt your sleep. Now, while I'm in the kitchen getting my liquids, my little magic potions, and my supplements ready, I go ahead and heat up my heated eye mask in the microwave. A heated eye mask is amazing for tear production, lubricating the eyes, and keeping them from going dry, which if you guys don't know, I did get a lower bleph, I believe it was last year. Time flies sometimes and I'm like, wait, I think it was last year, and ever since then I've been much more aware of dry eyes. So I love using a heated eye mask, not just for the benefits it has on the eyes, but it's also so relaxing because it increases blood circulation and releases muscle tension. So I definitely recommend a little heated eye mask. They're so cheap, you guys, on Amazon, and it is an amazing thing to add into your routine. All right, I have my drink, I have my heated eye mask on, and we are gonna multitask here, and I'm also gonna do my acupuncture mat, which is something that I recently asked for Christmas, and it's something that I recently added into my routine. An acupuncture mat is a mat that basically has a ton of little spikes that are supposed to mimic needles. It does kind of hurt, but that's the whole point. Use it for 15 to 20 minutes before bed, and it improves sleep by stimulating thousands of tiny spikes against the skin, triggering the release of endorphins and oxytocin, which reduces pain, stress, and anxiety. By activating the parasympathetic nervous system, these mats help lower heart rates, relax muscles, and induce a deep state of relaxation that makes it easier to fall and stay asleep. Again, none of this in this video is sponsored or an ad. This is just stuff that, again, is truly backed by science and evidence, and stuff that I've been doing in my routine lately. The acupuncture mat is fairly cheap on Amazon, so I definitely recommend looking it up and adding it into your routine. I will have everything that I use linked in my description if you want to check that out as well. After all this, the next thing you want to do is set the right temperature. If you are falling asleep in a room that is set like to 72 on heat, there's no way you're falling or staying asleep. Now remember, for women, our body temperature specifically lowers or raises depending on where we're at on our cycle, but generally speaking, our body core temp does generally drop when it's time to go to bed. If the room temp is too high, then your body will have a harder time going to sleep and staying asleep. You're likely gonna have interrupted sleep. So if you ever wake up in the middle of the night and you're sweating or you're too hot and you take the covers off of you, it is too hot in that room, I'm telling you right now. Not only do I lower the thermostat to 68 to 69 degrees, which I found is my sweet spot because I'm not too cold, but I'm also not too hot. But I also like to sleep in sheets that stay cool. So for me, cotton sheets are like my favorite thing in the world. They are sweat proof, they don't hold any heat, they stay super cold and fresh, and I love a good set of cotton sheets. All right, by now with everything we've done, your body is basically free and clear of tension, stress, anxiety. Your thoughts are basically, I mean, they vanished. Your brain is nice and clear. Dishes are put away, the pets are fed, like everything is amazing. You could probably fall asleep right now if you went to bed. But here are a couple things that I love to do when I'm in bed, because realistically, I can't fall asleep that quickly. I can't just jump into bed and fall asleep. I do want to note though that bed is supposed to be used only for sleep and fun, sexy time. Okay, you're not supposed to be in bed and be on your phone, on social media. In no part of this routine have I said, oh, pull out your phone, be on social media. Like, no. Once we're done with the closing shift routine, the phone should not even be seen anymore. The phone should vanish, okay? It should be on the other side of the room. Leave it downstairs, do what you gotta do, but do not be on social media, because social media will just pump your brain full of dopamine and really interrupt that signal that it's time for bed. But I do have a TV in my room, you guys. Listen, a girl can only do so much. A girl can only be so perfect. I love to watch a good episode or two in bed before sleep. Do not recommend though. But there are a couple of things that I do like to do in bed before falling asleep. So this leads me to my fifth and final part of this video, which is what I like to call the nightstand curation. And you can go on Pinterest and search this up, like nightstand curations or girl nightstand, and you'll be able to see how many women actually curate the most perfect nightstand, and it basically shows you what their nighttime routine is. I love it. Here's my ideal nightstand curation. Firstly, we do have a pillow mist. Remember what I told you about the scent and the brain and the connection with sleep? So I love using a good pillow mist before bed. This one by L'Occitane just smells so fresh and so relaxing. The next thing is a hand lotion and some cuticle oil, because who wants to go to sleep with dry hands? I certainly do not. Going to sleep with moisturized hands and moisturized cuticles also lets the moisturizer do the work while you sleep at night, so it's a win-win. You wake up with soft and moisturized hands and cuticles. Both of these are also by L'Occitane. I promise you guys, again, not sponsored. I genuinely just think L'Occitane has amazing products. Next thing, of course, is my mandatory lip balm. I cannot be in bed without a lip balm literally like not even a foot, like 6 inches away from me at all times. I need a lip balm in my nightstand at all times. The next thing is an eye mask. I love a good silk eye mask. I'm not a morning person, so as soon as the light starts creeping in through my window at like 6:20 in the morning, it will wake me up. It will tell my brain, oh, let's get up. It's time to wake up. I don't want to wake up at 6 in the morning. I'm sorry, I just do not. Also, I used to not be an eye mask user, but one night, I believe this was like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years, I scratched my eye with my nails on accident. Like, I woke up with a corneal abrasion. That crap hurts, you guys. It traumatized me. So now I use a eye mask literally every single night to protect my eyes from these weapons, apparently. The next thing on my nightstand are some earplugs. You guys, I am fully aware that I'm coming off as an old lady, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate having 9 to 10 hours of sleep every single night. I feel amazing. And my cats are monsters. Starting at 6 a.m., I mean, they're trying to just barge in through the door, crack down that door. They're coming in full like SWAT team mode. I mean, I have to wear those earplugs. Otherwise, every single night I will have interrupted sleep. If you're a sensitive and light sleeper like me, I cannot recommend earplugs enough. Any light sound will wake me up. If I hear literally a car passing by in the backyard, I will be like, wait, what was that? So the earplugs, they're not a want, they're a necessity at this point. These earplugs by Loops have honestly changed my life. They block out every single sound that you can ever think of. You can still hear your alarm, but you might want to raise that up a few notches because you might miss your alarm. That's how good they are. The next thing we have on our nightstand is a nice book. If I do want some sort of entertainment, maybe I'm still slightly awake, slightly alert, then I'm gonna reach for a book, because a book is always gonna put me to sleep, and it's always going to help my brain get some sort of stimulation without it being too overly stimulating like a phone or social media or TV. I also love using a traditional book. I don't have a Kindle. I've thought about it, but I just don't think that I read enough yet to get a Kindle. But I love a good traditional book, because versus reading it on my phone or an iPad, for instance, the blue light is just entering my face and it's gonna keep me awake and alert, versus a book with a reading light that has adjustable like color temperatures. It's the perfect formula to get me sleepy and fully relaxed. The last thing I have on my nightstand at all times is a fun drink. Again, the drink that we made earlier, whether it be your tart cherry juice with magnesium or my little gardening drink or a nice little tea. I need a drink. It's my addiction, you guys. You don't need a drink. It could just be water, but one of those, again, in rotation on my nightstand. Last thing I do want to note is, if you watch this video, then you will have noticed that the entire time the lighting was dim, the lighting was low, and I specifically changed my lighting to red light once I got into bed. Red light is extremely important. You do not want to turn on these harsh overhead lights or blue or warm lights that are going to keep you awake and alert. Red light is beneficial for sleep because its long wavelengths do not suppress melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep cycles, unlike blue light. It promotes a calming rest and digest state, helps align the circadian rhythm, and stimulates cellular energy production, making it easier to fall and stay asleep. Well, if you hadn't heard it before, then you heard it here first, folks. As you can tell, the whole theme of this video was really getting your body out of that fight or flight mode that it might be in all day due to work or children, if you have children, or stressful situations. The body is honestly an incredible thing because it will hold on to those things, and so will your mind, which is why so many people struggle with sleep, which is why I struggled with sleep for so many years, because I never had a good wind down routine. I used to just get ready for bed, get into bed, watch some TV, and then expect my body to follow with the thought that I had of, okay, it's time for bed. My body was probably like, girl, that is not how that works. My good wind down and nighttime routine has honestly changed my life, and I hope that this video helps you change your routine, gives you better sleep hygiene, and gives you the best sleep of your life. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, don't forget to comment if there's something in your routine that you do that I didn't mention in this video. I would love to see it, love to hear about it, and love to eventually add it into my routine. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.